their rent deducted from their welfare payments before it hits their bank accounts. It's part of a new federal government plan to stop people running up huge debts. Apparently, nearly 9,000 tenants in social housing owe at least 3 weeks' rent, and more than 2,000 people lose access to public housing each year because they fall too far behind. So the new automatic rent deduction scheme will make sure that dole recipients can't spend their money on other things first.
Right, let's get today's take on this with Shelley Horton and Ross Greenwood. Ross, go to you first. Should those on welfare be told how they spend their own money?
I think in this case, probably yes. The reason is, if you think about the pressures on those families, and especially electricity bills, and even though they can be subsidised by government, they're rising, and so people...
And rent could be subsidised.
And rent can be subsidised, and is in these people's cases. So we've got to accept that. But then homelessness is a fundamental problem in Australia. And because homelessness is a function of a person being able to pay their rent, what you don't want is a person falling behind on their rent. Now, given the fact it's all subsidised to begin with, and do bear in mind, say, for example, in nursing homes, in some retirement villages, the money or the rent is actually taken straight out of the pension. What is that difference about this particular system? Now, the issue is obviously it's a cost-saving measure. The government, the people will say, that's not fair. But if you start to think about the dignity of a person actually having a home and being assured of that roof over their head, if that means that the rent is deducted first, I don't see such a bad thing about that.
What do you think, Shelley?
I've got a bit of an issue with it because aren't we teaching them what to do? Because we're trying to get people to get off welfare to be able to manage their own budget. So if the government is just going to be taking that money out, they're not learning the right thing to do. So I think that we need to have a bit of a happy medium with this. If they're falling behind, perhaps, then yes, we do need to step in.
What if it was an option?
But if they're not falling behind,
what I didn't understand is it wasn't an option. Like, is this something you can say, my family want to opt in on this, or my family don't want to opt in on this because we'd like to try and manage our own budget? Because we're all happy to throw up our hands and go, oh, it's a nanny state, but unless it's like, you know, people who need it, it's like, oh, well, nanny state's fine over here.
Yeah, I'd suggest that in many of these cases, these people cannot manage their finances anyway. And so this is a way of being managed. As you point out, what are we teaching to people? Well, frankly, in many of these cases, these people are in such a serious state that it's not a case of trying to teach people something. It's actually trying to make certain that the roof stays over their head. Right. And I would have to think that homelessness, and having done a lot of work with Vinnies, and they do great things with all the sleep outs and stuff like that around the place, that the issue of homelessness is so fundamental in Australia right now. Anything that you can do to keep that roof over that person's head, I think maintains their dignity.
All right, let's move on. Plastic takeaway containers could soon be on the way out. Hobart Council will tonight consider a proposal to ban them by the year 2020. This is all part of the city's war on waste. Shelley, we all have them. We all get our soups or whatever in plastic containers. We take them home. Some of us wash them. Some of us just chuck them away, and they become landfill, and they're not breaking down. So what do you think?
I think this is a great idea, but I don't ever have a plastic container that's a single use. I wash it, then it's got my leftover dinner and stuff like that, and it's in the freezer. I use it all the time. I think it's still a positive move, though, because we need to be looking at how much waste we have. My issue, and it's a very personal issue, is I don't want them to get rid of plastic spoons and forks because I hate wooden spoons and forks. I hate the texture on my tongue.
You're the second person that
Really?
said that today. Something about the way it feels
like,
on your
I don't
teeth.
like paddle pop sticks either.
Really?
I don't like that whole wooden...
It's like an oral examination?
No, don't like it. Don't like it.
Toothpicks? No.
No, don't like it.
I'm old enough to remember when you used to go to the Chinese restaurant when I was a young man with your saucepans.
Oh, wait,
What?
So as a result, your takeaway container with a family saucepans.
Takeaway, that's just come in and just give me food.
No, back when dinosaurs first roamed the earth.
It's true. You actually took your saucepans down to the... And they'd put the chicken chow mein or the fried rice, whatever it was.
No.
They'd load up
Never.
your saucepans, you'd take it home.
I think
Never
you've
heard
made
It was
this
actually
up.
good. So
My parents are very big on, in my day, and they've never even told
No,
that
I've never
story.
heard this ever.
Believe me, it used to happen.
You sure you just didn't know a Chinese family and they're
and what
helping
I'm
you
a bit
out?
worried
Exactly.
about is we're going back to those days.
Right.
Because, like, if they're going to get rid of the plastic containers, what are we going to put the takeaway Chinese in?
You
Well,
pots,
paper.
obviously, bring back
We're
the
going to put in
paper.
what?
Yeah, if you want a regular, like
cardboard.
Starbucks, you know how you can buy a Starbucks mug or whatever it is. Maybe, like, if you're going to be a regular of that particular Chinese restaurant, they give you pots, you use them, you bring them back.
Take your saucepans.
Oh, you're
My theory is
reusable.
take your saucepans.
You're welcome.
Works a treat.
Saucepans.
Yeah, because
Weird,
that's
man.
such a
Good
great
idea.
look.
Take
Hey,
it
I
home.
need grab a couple of saucepans. I'm going down to
Can
get
you
some
please
Chinese
ask
takeaway.
anyone on Facebook to write in to see if this is true?
Just check
I just have,
Ross'
yeah.
Believe me, people, it's true.
I'm
It is
not-
true.
Go, you can back him up. Yeah, you can back it up. Shelley Ross is going to stay with us because when we come back, the death of the footy pie, why the NRL is going gourmet when it comes to food offerings at the games. Wait till you see what they've put on. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Sweet and sour?
Bring your own pots.
Bring your own pot.
Now, one of Australia's greatest traditions is under threat. Enjoying a pie at the footy. In Brisbane, the national staple is being replaced at Broncos games as the NRL jumps on board the food truck phenomenon.
Yep.
Fans will now have access to everything from German sausages to teppanyaki.
Well, that does actually sound quite appealing. Shelley Horton and Ross Greenwood are back with us. But look, you know, I like a food truck, Shelley.
I love a food truck, and I think.
But I don't think we should lose the meat pie. I think you need to have the option.
I don't think we're going to lose the meat pie. I think there's
No,
a
it's
bit of
at
hype.
risk.
It's a bit of hype. You're always going to
Brisbane
have.
apparently hates
Brisbane,
the meat pie.
Mate, I'm a Queenslander. Brizzies love a meat pie. I think you'll still have the meat pies available inside, but outside there'll be the food trucks. So you do get your fancy teppanyaki or a bit of a fajita or something. And I think that's great. And also,
Fajitas.
I'm hoping that we'll get a few healthier options as well, rather than deep fried everything.
I have actually done a little bit of research on this
Go on.
with the sports department at Channel 9,
Right.
who tell me that generally the quality of food at AFL games and venues is significantly better than at NRL venues
I would agree.
and
I went
games.
to the Swans match the other week with Leo. And I
Yes.
thought, I'll just get some chips, and usually the chips are really greasy. They were terrific.
Yeah, and in fact, if you go to the MCG or the SCG
SCG was
for
fantastic.
AFL games or cricket games these days, fantastic catering.
agree.
But you go to some other venues, and it would be
We
fair
would
to say
not
that
name
they're
them.
still back in the dark ages. What's that?
We won't name the venue.
No, but we have almost. But the fact of the matter is, but there is one that is notable, a little like the Broncos here, which have actually done that. The Cronulla Sharks. They've already rolled out food vans. It's been highly successful. So you can get the breakfast and the sushi and all that sort of stuff going through. So in actual fact, this is actually about trying to bring the standards of the game up to scratch, which in some ways the AFL has already gone to. So it's
So
kind of
you're
interesting.
saying
to
There's
that
see.
nothing-
rugby fans are poor cousins to the posh AFL fans?
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
no, their standards are improving right now as they
But you
should
know,
be.
you're out, it's a winter's night, you're watching the footy and you're having sushi.
That's it.
Welcome to 2017.
How good is a pie and a beer at the footy, by the way? It is sensational.
Guys,
Beautiful.
good to have you both on. Go on to Facebook and Twitter. Would you eat this sort of food at the footy? Let us know.
Still to come, luxury getaways on a budget.